what originally drew you to start writing about drugs? Because your last book, Blitzed, dives into Pervitin and Nazi Germany, that whole connection. Obviously, this one is more about LSD, psychedelics. There's also the Nazi crossover. Like, what was it that drew you originally into spending so much time writing about just the drugs that you've chosen?
So I find them interesting on a personal level, but that doesn't automatically mean that I would write about it, because I don't write about anything that I find interesting. So it was actually a coincidence that brought the drugs into the writing as like a major topic, and that was when a friend of mine, who actually left my apartment just 10 minutes ago, a DJ, Alex is his name, he told me in 2010 that the Nazis were using a lot of drugs and that I should write about it. And I had never heard this before, even though, I'm German, so I'm quite well educated about the dictatorship under Hitler. So we get a lot of education about it in school. Right? It's an important part of us growing up to know everything about the Nazis. But drugs were never part of this education. Like, I never heard that Nazis had taken drugs. No one in Germany knew this. But I could find, but Alex had heard of it because a friend of his had found Pervitin, which is the medication that was on the market in Germany at the time, which contains methamphetamine, which is methamphetamine. It was a normal drug. It was not illegal. And he found this still a package in 2010 from the 40s in an old East German apartment. Like, that's kind of the specialty of Berlin, that things get like, suddenly they come up, like in some drawer, you find something from the past. So they found actually Pervitin from the 40s and took it because they were adventurous, and they still had a meth experience, but a clean meth experience, because it's not like crystal meth in some black, like the
good shit, the OG
it was,
shit. Yeah.
I don't know if I wouldn't call it good, but at least it's professionally made by a German pharmaceutical company. Yeah. So it's pure meth. Your teeth don't fall out, but you still, have also negative side effects, obviously. Mm-hmm. But when they took it, they thought it was great. Actually, they had very good effects. You might have bad side effects, but they had good effects. So they told me about this, and then I Googled, and there was like a few hints that methamphetamine was used widely during those times. But then I really researched it in archives, and I found a lot of stuff. So this is how the first book, Blitzed, came about. And then while I was researching Blitzed, which is mainly a methamphetamine and an opioid story, I also came across psychedelic experiments that the Nazis did in the concentration camp of Dachau. And I thought this is quite interesting, because psychedelics and Nazis, that's not something that goes together. You can imagine like Nazis and meth, you just, become this robot type soldier kind of, that's a typical, image, which works, which was truthful, because they used a lot of meth on the soldiers.
Yeah, Nazis and meth seem like chocolate and peanut butter. They would just fit perfectly together.
Yeah, but Nazis...
sorry to cut you off. I just had a question about when your friends were taking the World War II Pervitin, the meth, because the image that pops up into my head is that scene from Wolf of Wall Street where they buy the old ludes, and the ludes are the Quaaludes that are decades old, and they have to take they take multiple ludes because they're so old, the time release is off. So they're not high after 30 minutes, or they're not high after 90 minutes. So they keep taking more and more, and then it all kicks in at once. Did your friends have any experience like that, where they didn't feel the first couple and then they took some more and they were like, holy shit, like it's actually working?
Yeah, well, he told me I took one and it was okay. Like, I could feel a little bit. Then I took another one and it was like a little stronger. Then I took a third one, and then he said, and he pointed down at the river, which you can see here. Sometimes big ships go by, and he said, I felt like one of these ships that suddenly gets like this huge engine push, to move. So the third one really made it for him.